Hey guys, I'm back here with my 2002 Nissan Maxima. Today I wanted to show you guys how to change the oil in your car, and this is what you'll need. This isn't required, this is just to get under the car. You can just army crawl down there. You will definitely need a jack like this and some jack stands for safety. You will also need a replacement oil filter. This is a Mobil 1 oil filter, and here is the model number M1-108. I highly suggest using gloves for this job. You will need replacement oil. This is what's recommended in the owner's manual 5W30, and you only need about 4 1/4 quarts of oil, so this has 5 quarts. I highly suggest having some paper towels around as well, because you might make a mess. And you will also need a pan like this to catch the old oil. Then to take the cap or the nut off of the oil pan, you'll need either a wrench or a socket that is 9/16 size. And this is everything you'll need. Everything here will be listed down in the description below. Alright, so first off, go ahead and lift up the car. Just the front of the car here. And what I personally use to lift the car is this little circle thing right under the jack right there, and that fits the jack pretty well. Once you get it wedged in there, you should be able to lift up the car using that. Now once you have the car lifted up, make sure to secure it with jack stands so it doesn't fall on you. In my other video where I replaced the oil on my Jeep, some people commented that I was not being very safe. Well, this car sits like half a foot off the ground. The Jeep used to sit more than a foot off the ground, so even if it fell, I wouldn't get squished. But with this car, if it fell on you, you would probably be dead. So make sure to use your jack stands for safety, and maybe have someone around just in case. Alright, now that you have the car up on the jack stands, go ahead and pop the hood. And then come over here. Pop the hood open. By the way, when you do this, make sure the engine is not hot so you can actually put your hand on it. Otherwise, you're probably going to get burned with hot oil. So go ahead and take this off just so that it can intake air. That way the reservoir down there drains quicker. Alright, now get your pan here. Make sure this is popped out so that the oil can drain inside, and then position it. It's easier to get to from the front. So up here from the front, position it right here, right under. This is the oil pan here, exhaust, so there's your exhaust going back there, and this is your oil pan. The nut that we need to take out is right there on the oil pan, so position it a little bit back from that bolt there. Alright, now that you have the pan down there, go ahead and use your wrench or your socket wrench to loosen up this bolt. It's actually easier to use the wrench and just get it in there, and then use your fist and just hammer it counterclockwise. Once you have this bolt loose, you should be able to unscrew it with your fingers very slowly and push in as you're unscrewing it. And you will start seeing some oil drip down in just a second. Alright, so here it is. Now once you have it completely loose, pull it out quickly. And there you'll see the oil going into the pan. So there you can see the oil draining down. And as you can tell, this is pretty dirty oil. It's all dark. Now the next thing we need to do is remove that right there, which is the oil filter. So with this one, you should be able to just unscrew it with your hand. Now you want to move this slightly over so that it will drain in the pan as well. So there you can see it draining down into the pan. And with that, just unscrew it. And I like to just set it in there and let it drain. So just wait a few minutes for everything to drain out, and then we'll fill it up with new oil. Alright, now that this is drained and this is barely dripping anymore, you can go ahead and put the bolt back in place here. And make sure to tighten that. Don't tighten it too much because this is something that needs to be done pretty often. If you're wondering how often you should be changing your oil, if you're using standard oil, then you should be doing it about every 3,000 miles. If you're using fully synthetic oil, like the one that I'm using, Mobil 1 oil, it is guaranteed for up to 15,000 miles, although I don't suggest ever taking it that high. I personally do it about every 5,000 to 8,000 miles. I like to drive my cars quite a bit, so that's pretty decent for me. But yeah, between every 3 to 5,000 if you're using conventional oil, and about between 5,000 to 8,000 I would say if you're using fully synthetic. You can always take it up for longer, but I personally don't suggest doing so. Alright, now we need to replace the oil filter, so get your new oil filter here and get your new oil. And just get some of this new oil on your finger, like that, and put it around the seal on your oil filter. You do this so the next time that you change your filter, it's easier to remove, plus it makes the seal a lot better. So get your new new oil filter and wiggle it in place up here. And tighten this one. Just hand tighten it, you know. So until you can barely turn it, and that should be tight enough. And that's it for down here. Now we can take this out of here. And I made a mess. Be careful with your pen. This is why you have the paper towels around. So that only happened because this piece up there popped back in place. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about was your oil. So if your oil is dark like this, then your engine is fine. If your oil is like a milk chocolate color, kind of like that on the filter, like, let's see, like this color right here, then you have a serious engine problem and your coolant is actually leaking inside your engine. So it's probably a head gasket issue, which is a pretty similar issue, or a pretty common issue, I should say, on some cars. On this car, I haven't seen it, and I hope I never see it. But anyways, you have that drained. Now go up here and simply fill up the tank with your oil. And again, as mentioned before, this is 5 quarts. You only need 4 1/4. If you put too much, don't worry too much about it. It'll just get burned. Personally, I have been using 5 quarts for the last couple of changes until I read up on how much it actually does require. And I don't know exactly what kind of wear and tear it causes if you put too much, but I know if you put too little, your engine will have some serious problems. So too much is always better than too little. So just add your oil slowly, carefully. You might want to use a funnel, but I'm just eyeballing it here. Right, so I spilled some, as you can tell there. It's probably better to use a funnel, but you can actually tell here how many quarts are left. So right there is about 1/4, or I mean 3/4 that's left over of 1 quart. And yeah, that's it. Since I spilled a little, I put a little bit more in there, but that should be it. Then just go ahead and tighten this back in place, and then just clean up the area with your paper towel. The only thing that's left to do is to lower the car. So that is it on how to replace the oil on your 2002 Nissan Maxima, although this same basic concept applies to any car out there. The only real difference is how much oil each car needs. So make sure to check your owner's manual to be able to see how much your specific car needs if you're following this tutorial. But that's it for this video. If you guys found this video helpful or informative, please remember to like, comment, favorite, or share this video. And as always, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.